It's Christopher Shine from Star Wars Resistance, and you are listening to the Man Cave Chronicles.
Welcome to another episode of the Man Cave Chronicles.
Welcome to the party, pal!
You're my boy, Blue!
Yo, Adrian!
A podcast with interviews of amazing guests from the world of pop culture.
Oh, yeah!
TV.
Nice!
Movies.
Oh, I love the movies!
Comedy and more. From deep inside the Man Cave, your host, Elias.
Christopher, welcome to the cave.
Thank you for having me. It's a beautiful cave.
How are things with you, man? What's new?
Man, so much is going on. Just so much with Star Wars is happening right now. Lots of doors opening. So much fan love and just to see the Twitter blow up with the newest episodes and the finale coming up here. So many great things.
Yeah. So the listeners know you from Hawaii 5.0, Days of Our Lives, and now, of course, Star Wars Resistance. But I wanted to get to know a little bit more about you. Where are you originally from?
So my father was in the Navy, and he traveled a lot. So we were military brats, as they call them, but we moved from Washington to Canada, Philippines, Japan, Mississippi, Ohio, El Centro, San Diego, kind of all over.
Oh, wow.
California, Southern California is really home for us. But, yeah, we had the opportunity to travel a lot, and my mom's Japanese, so I got to learn how to speak Japanese. And in travel, I learned Spanish, Japanese, Tagalog, a little Mandarin, a little bit of like a lot of different languages.
Oh, wow.
Which is cool. And I made a lot of friends everywhere. And now with like social media the way it is, you can kind of connect with anyone anywhere. So I've got friends all over the world now, which is awesome.
Yeah. Well, where was your favorite area that you lived in growing up? Since you lived in all those places.
You know, it's every place has a special holder in my heart, because Japan is, honor and respect, and the people out there are so loving and caring. But then you've got Hollywood, where it's the elite. This is the capital of show business of the world, where you've got the best food and the best shows and kind of a little bit of everything. You've got mountains an hour away, you've got the beach an hour away, you've got the desert an hour away. Then, San Diego, it's also really it's not as fast-paced as New York. It's not New York's super high fast-paced, but LA is medium fast-paced, and then San Diego's kind of chill, still lower end of the fast. Again, every place has something beautiful about it, and I try to find the positives in everything, so I can say, oh, you tell me a place, I'll tell you why it's great.
Yeah, Interesting. So, growing up in those different areas, what were you into as a kid?
You said growing up what?
Growing up in those different areas, what were you into as a kid growing up?
Oh, what was I into? I've always been into video games and sports,
Yeah.
Comic books and action figures. I mean, I love being active. I love kind of hey, you get a phone call from a friend. Hey, we're doing flag football. You want to come out? Yep, I'm there.
Yeah.
Hey, we're doing Dungeons and Dragons board game night. You want to be there? Yeah, I'm totally there. We're playing Skip-Bo. I'm there. Whatever it is. I just kind of spontaneity is awesome for me. But also planning, nowadays I've been so busy, it's kind of I have to plan dates with my girlfriend even. So it's kind of one of those things. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Oh, sorry, my headphones died. But yeah, it's one of those things where I just kind of I'm into anything, man. Growing up everywhere, I've learned to just kind of fit in everywhere I go, and whatever we do. Like I said, I've always learned to find something I love about everything.
Yeah. For you mentioned video games. What were some of your favorite video games growing up?
Final Fantasy VII was amazing. Let me think here. I mean, I had played Need for Speed, Hot Pursuit 3. I even had where you sit down, you have the steering wheel you sit on, and you have the levers that you press. I had a Nintendo, I had a Sega, I had a PlayStation 2, 3, now 4. I grew up playing video games. I still have the Switch. We play what is that? What is that? Where everyone beats each other? Ultimate Smash Brothers.
Okay.
That was fun. the kids love that. Kingdom Hearts was such an awesome video game, man. Love that game. How they tied in Sora and all of the Disney legends.
Yeah.
Love all that. Dude, I mean, Poi Poi. Have you ever heard of Poi Poi?
I have not.
There's a video game, Poi Poi. I used to have all my friends come over to our house. And we'd all, like, hang out. It's a slumber party night, and you could play up to 4 players. And what we would do is we would play Poi Poi. And essentially it's like these, like, it's like the me characters.
Okay.
It looks like those me characters run around picking up stones and beating each other with stones. So it's like this free-for-all, like, so funny. And everyone gets, like, these ultimates that are so wacky, and you just kind of beat each other up. And we would just laugh our butts off all night playing that game.
Yeah. How do, so I read online that you trained in mixed martial arts. How did you get into that?
Well, as a kid, one of my heroes was Bruce Lee and Jackie Chan and Jean-Claude Van Damme, even Arnold Schwarzenegger. All these people really inspired me. But thinking, like, also, like, I grew up very close-knit with my family because we moved off and we had each other only. And it was kind of one of those things where I have a sister with Down syndrome, and I always wanted to protect her. And I thought watching these movies, the best way to protect her would be martial arts. So my mom put us in Taekwondo at a very young age. And so studying Taekwondo at a young age, it kind of led me into boxing and wrestling and football. So I started learning different ways to get stronger, bigger, faster, and implement all that into martial arts. As I got older, my sister started dating a gentleman named Jeremy the Scorpion Jackson, and he was an ultimate fighter. He would beat the crap out of me. Excuse my language, but he would beat me up, and we would train together, and I learned how to fight, MMA, utilizing the wrestling. He taught me jiu-jitsu, arm bars, leg locks, triangles, guillotines, and, I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm nowhere near a master. And Joe Rogan and gentlemen like him put years and years into getting there and earning their black belts, decades. For me, I may have spent 2 years training, 2-3 years maybe training. So I'm nowhere near a master, but I spent my time getting punched in the head, getting kicked in the face, rolling around with some of my favorites, some of my great friends, and so I've got a background in athleticism and a little bit in MMA.
Do you?
It all kind of, I feel like I'm a well-rounded person.
Yeah. Do you still try to keep active with mixed martial arts at all?
Actually, yeah. I actually borrowed a splits machine from my buddy Brett, and so I've been getting in my splits back again. Start throwing some high kicks and practicing just being flexible and getting back into throwing punches and kicks. I got some boxing gloves and wraps, and I'm ready to get back at it. Recently, I reached out to an old trainer of mine, and so I'm hoping to get back in touch with him and start going at it again.
Interesting. So, when you were growing up as a kid, did you know you wanted to be an actor?
Yeah, I did, man. Since my dad was in the Navy, when he was deployed, he would record himself reading me and my sisters. I've got 2 older sisters. He would read us a book, and then he would ship it back out to us, and my sisters and I would sit down in front of the television, and my mom would pop in the VHS tape, or I think it was Beta at the time, Betamax, jeez. But she would pop in the little tape, and we would see my dad reading his books on TV, and my dad would be reading. He'd be like, Christopher, sit down. And I'm like, how do you know I was standing up? It's so crazy. And then my mom would record us kind of being silly. And then I remember as a kid watching, I actually got to see some of those videos recently. And there's a video of me saying, hey, Dad, I'm not as strong as you yet, but I'm going to be strong like you one day. And I'm flexing and I'm like, look at those arms. I'm like, oh, my God, such a silly kid. But, I see my dad on television. I've always wanted to be like my dad. And then having my mom record me, I was always comfortable in front of cameras. So I was like, this is great. Like, you get to be paid for this? People tell you you're awesome? Like, where do I sign up? It's awesome.
So So when you told your parents you wanted to get into acting, how did that go?
I got karate chopped twice. No, I'm kidding. No, no, my my parents are cool, man. They're always like, if you're gonna do it, then do it. You know, don't pull out. Don't be a wuss. If you're gonna do it, you go for it 100%. You commit. So if you fail, it's on your own shoulders. You have no one else to blame but yourself. So I was like, cool. It's a great mantra to live by. You know, no matter what you do it. And for me, there's no such thing as failure. There's only learning lessons. You know, you learn ways not to do it.
So,
like Thomas Edison, they say.
Yeah. So when you finished high school, what was the next step that you took for acting?
Oh man, when I finished high school, I was kind of like I think it's very important for kids to stay in school, to continue pursuing college, and develop a network there. For me, it was one of those things where I have a different childhood than most people, so I was kind of lost focus coming out of high school, trying to figure out where I wanted to go, how I was going to do this. I didn't know how do you break into the entertainment industry? So started modeling. I started doing beauty pageants. I won a couple of beauty pageants. I started taking acting classes. I got signed with a modeling agency, got signed with a commercial agency, just working my way slowly up, understanding the business more and more. I think one of the best things you can do is understand that acting is not just the creative side, it's also the business side. You really have to understand the business to be fruitful in this world, because if you're not creating your own intellectual properties, if you're not creating videos, and if you're not constantly working, work begets work. If you're not working, you're slowly going to fall off and lose focus, and then probably lose the foresight as to what's going to happen in the business. So for me, out of high school, I started a PR firm. I was working, kind of doing whatever I could. I had 7 jobs at one point, trying to figure out how do you get into this business. You know, I did a couple of reality shows on MTV too, like anything and everything I could.
Oh, now you say you did. Did you do some? Did you end up doing some commercials?
I went out. I did a couple of commercials, but like nothing huge.
Yeah. So while you were doing all this, what was your first gig that you actually got?
One quick second. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
It's like, so while you were doing all this, what was the first real gig that you got after like hustling for 7 jobs?
Real gig?
Yeah.
Oh man, dude! I was booking like little things here and there. I was doing casting workshops, meeting with as many casting directors as I could, saying, "Look, I'm worth it. I know I'm not Asian enough to be Asian, and I know I'm not white enough to be white. I'm a mix. I'm multi-ethnic." So I could never really book work. Yeah. I booked a co-star here and there. A Bold and the Beautiful, I got a one line. I think I said, "My pleasure, miss." And I walk away from camera, and I was like, "Oh, cool. I booked a shot. Should I do it in Australian? Like, how do I stand out, Yeah. Bold and the Beautiful was one of the first ones. And I booked the Mindy Project. I was frat bro. And I did a show called Lizzie Bennett Diaries. I think that was like the first real big hit. And that was the first and only YouTube series, I believe. And then Improved the Lizzie Bennett Diaries, made by the same production company, that won a Primetime Emmy.
Oh, wow.
And it was really cool because I was the most featured male on the show, which is awesome. So I think that's kind of like slowly where I started getting my break.
So after that, you got the Days of Our Lives, man. That was pretty huge for you. How did you audition for that?
I don't know the exact number, but I know that when it came to Days of Our Lives, Marnie Dawn told me that there were thousands upon thousands of people that I beat out for that role. Wow. I mean, literally, I remember going to that room, and we did the first audition. She says, "Okay, you're great. We're taking you straight to producers." And I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing. Oh my God, this is so cool." And she brought me in the producers, they brought me to the callback first, and she said, "This is really just to inform you, we changed the script up a little bit and kind of doing your thing, but we really love what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing. Bring that energy to the room." Cool, awesome. So I go out and come back to the producer session, and I'm like, this is amazing. I see a group of Black people and a group of Latin Americans and then a group of Japanese Americans. And I'm thinking, man, there's a lot of people that are casting today. No, they were all going out for the same role. Like, holy shnikes, I can't believe. I didn't realize that every single one of those people was my competition.
Yeah.
And there's some famous names in there. I mean, I'm like, dude, I saw that guy in this movie. I know that guy for this movie. Like, this is insane. But again, like me being naive, I didn't realize they were all my competition. So I just in my own little world thinking, just do the best you can, and that's all that matters. Yeah. Well, luckily I beat everyone out and got the role, and I got to play Paul Nareed on Days of Our Lives for 4 years.
Yeah. How was it being like in a soap opera, and you know, like you guys record like every day, correct?
Yeah, they record Monday through Friday, 7 to 7 sometimes. I mean, back in the day, now they try and stick to like a healthier schedule, 8 to 5. But back in the day, I mean, it was 17, 18 hours, sometimes all day long to be at the studio. So for us, we're pretty spoiled being on the show. And it's very, very a strict regimen. I mean, you really got to know your lines. You really got to be on it. You can make a mistake maybe 1-2 times, and after that, you got like these little red lasers on your head. You're like, oh, shoot, I can't mess up a line. They're going to take me out. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, honestly, like my biggest week, I played a gay baseball player on the show who came out, and my biggest week, I think, was the coming out episode. I did 52 pages of dialogue, 37 pages of dialogue, 19, wow. 17, 19, 12, and 7, excuse me. So that whole week was like go to work, memorize 52 pages of dialogue, bawl your eyes out, be emotionally and physically fatigued, come home, study another 8 hours, wake up, go back to work, do it again. And I wasn't even the most featured actor on the show. So for me, I kind of got it easy. Yeah. And like I said, there's a lot of discipline involved to it. You really have to hone your craft. You really have to make strong choices and just go for it. And if you don't, they're going to cut you off the show. So those people who are still working, they make strong acting choices. The fans love them, and so do the studio. So there's lots of respect that I have for them.
Yeah. Would you ever do a soap opera again? Or do you want to try to get into other acting parts?
To be honest, I think soap operas are phenomenal. I think they are. I really hope that they last forever. I mean, Days of Our Lives has been going for 55. They're filming their 55th year now. Yeah. But the thing with it is I don't know. I mean, soap operas. I would say yes if I got to a point in my career where I could go back and just have fun and still, again, take it seriously, be strict with it. But at the same time, I kind of want to do something more action, more large. Like Star Wars has been a gift. It's been a blessing because even though I'm just doing voiceover, I still get to like live in this world of action and adventure and this huge galaxy where I get to play. And for me, that's what I want to do on camera as well.
Yeah. So let's talk about Star Wars. It's huge. Star Wars Resistance. The fans are loving it. And you voice Kazuto, right? Is that how would you pronounce it?
Kazuda Xiono.
Yeah. So all right, tell us the process of that. Like, how did you get that, man? I mean, because people would love to get that.
Yeah, man. To be honest, I've only done on-camera stuff, so I'm very new to the voiceover world. I had done one audition prior to that for Voltron, the Red Line, and I was like, I got the producers on that, and I thought, well, that was a great run. I didn't book the role, but my first audition, I got the producers. I don't even know what I'm doing in voiceover. Then I booked. My second audition, I get a call from my agent in New York saying, "Hey, Christopher, hi, I'm your agent in New York, voiceover. Lucasfilms is calling for you. Who are you?" And I was like, "Wait, who am I? Like, who are you, bro? Like, what are we talking about here?" He's like, "Lucasfilms wants you, and I think it's for the lead of the new series, but I don't know. Let's talk about this. I'm coming to LA here pretty soon, and I want to get to know you. I want to know what's going on." And I was like, "Cool." So we chatted and we talked about it, and yeah, man, it just kind of like he was explaining to me what's going on, and I went in and I ran the gamut. And I remember at one point I was kind of studying like how to remember names. I know that sounds silly, but bear with me because there's a meaning to it. I'm going somewhere with this. I was like learning how to memorize names. And I remember going in to the audition and everyone introduced me and said, "Hey, Christopher, thanks for coming in. Producer session at Lucasfilms. Star Wars at the time was a different name. So I'm Brandon. I'm Justin. I'm Athena. I'm Mandy. I'm Troy. I'm Josh. I'm Lindsay. And I was like, they're like, we don't expect you to remember everyone's names. And I said, no, I have it all memorized. And I think they thought I was blowing smoke, But when I came back for the last callback, I came into the room and I said each of their names to them, directly to them. And the name is so important because that's the one thing we have is our name and our word, obviously, but our name. So to remember someone's name shows you that they're important to you. So I walked in that room and I remember all the names. I remember one of the producers was like, "Just give the man the job." And I was like, "Sweet, man, sweet. Just remembering their names, awesome."
Wow.
So it was a really cool experience.
So I got to ask, were you a Star Wars fan growing up?
Oh, absolutely. My dad used to tell us stories in the voice of Yoda, and he would walk around and pretend that he's fighting ninjas as Yoda. And so me and my sisters would be laughing. We'd get our bedtime stories from Dad Yoda, so cool.
Yeah.
And then to have the opportunity to be a part of the galaxy and to see the fans' reaction. And there was a lot of ups and downs. Some fans were totally against it. Some fans were totally for it. But now as the show's continuing to progress, I'm seeing so many come back to the light, away from the dark side. They're all coming to the light side and supporting and loving the show and having a deep passion for it, putting up gifts and quoting the show. It's like, that is, oh my God, my heart just swells. I'm so happy.
So you said you enjoyed the movies growing up. Who was your favorite character?
I've been going back and forth with my girlfriend about this, and it's hard to say because I love Luke Skywalker. I've always loved Luke Skywalker, but then I'm also a huge Anakin fan because Anakin, Darth Vader, his story and the way he went and coming back from the dark side to help his son, it was beautiful. I don't know. I mean, that whole Skywalker family is.
Yeah.
Darth Vader. I mean, when I saw Darth Vader in the last movie come in, you hear his breathing, and he starts throwing around the rebels of the Resistance. It was like, whoa. I don't know. I get the chills anytime I hear his music, and it's just, I don't know how to say it. I love Luke Skywalker, and I love Darth Vader / Anakin. So I kind of I'm right in the line here.
Yeah. So for the listeners that don't know what this is about, can you just tell them a little bit what the cartoon is based for?
Well, Star Wars Resistance takes place 6 months before The Force Awakens of the feature films, Lucasfilms, and kind of follows the journey of a young pilot, Kazuda Xiono, as he's recruited by the Resistance to spy on the First Order, or to find out if there's any First Order presence on the location of the Colossus. So we kind of follow the journey of Kazuda learning how to be a spy, and his mishaps, and him as a person growing and learning how to not rely on everyone to take care of him, but to learn to be responsible for his own actions, and to hopefully become a leader in some form to help others rather than just himself.
So, what can you tell us about your character? Was it easy for you to prepare playing Kaz, as a voiceover?
Kaz is a really interesting character because, I'm a big kid myself. I love to just be fun and silly and have a great time. And that's kind of what this character promotes. It's just go in and speak before you think, have a good time, be silly, be crazy, off the wall bonkers. I mean, I was working with Oscar Isaac, and he was very gracious to give his time because he was performing Hamlet at the time, and they got me some tickets to see him perform. He was phenomenal. The next morning, he's in the studio, and I'm like looking right at him. I get to hug him, and it's like, dude, you're Oscar Isaac. But anyway, I'm in the booth working with him, and he tells me, you created a really fun character. Like, good for you. And I'm like, wow, thanks, man. How did I do that? I don't know. I mean, honestly, I've got to give, I feel complete credit to the writers, because it's really just me reading their characters with a silly voice. Like, they're the ones that created this guy. They're the ones who know where he's at. Me, I just put my heart and my humor into it. And that's really it.
Do you feel like there's a connection with you with that character? Like you can relate to him a little bit?
Absolutely. I think everyone can relate to him.
Yeah.
Because in many ways, we're all like trying to figure out who we are. We're all trying to figure out, like, when are people really going to take me seriously? You know, like, can't believe I'm 33, and in my head I'm thinking I'm still like 19. I feel like a kid, you know.
Yeah.
And I feel like we can all relate to that in some shape or form. Like, so that's who Kaz is. Kaz is that person who, like, we all are inside. We want to be heroes. We want to do something bigger, and then the reality is we're not really sure. We're not really aware of how much responsibility that undertaking is we're asking to do.
Yeah.
Until it actually happens, and that's when we all grow up. And so, yeah, I have a heavy amount of connection with the character in life, and just his silliness as well.
How much fun are you having doing a voiceover for this?
You know, it's amazing because they don't just put one person in a booth and say, perform. They gave us all the tools necessary to be successful. They gave us amazing co-stars, Scott Lawrence, Susie McGraw, Jason Hightower, Myrna Velasco. And then you start going into, like, the huge celebrity draw, like Donald Faison, Oscar Isaac, Gwendolyn Christie, even Dave Filoni's voicing some people. So, you know, you've got the actors there. You've got the production team, Justin Ridge, Athena, Brandon Alman, Mandy, all of these amazing producers who are so, like, giving and positive. And then, you know, you've got the cartoon, you get the animators, the production design team. You get to see our voices put into the characters, which gives us more of an understanding of what we're doing. So when we're in that room, we're surrounded by love, by support. And it's not just me. Like I said, there's 6-7 other actors in the room. So I'm actually getting to work directly with whomever I'm speaking with. So there's real chemistry. Yeah. There's real conversation. Like I said, it's not just me in a booth saying, well, what was the line again? No, it's me talking directly to Captain Doza, me talking directly with Tora Doza, Pam, Rivora, all of the Yeager, you know, all of the characters we love. I'm working with them in person.
Mm. So, throughout the years of your acting, do you have, like, a dream role that you want to play someday?
Yeah. Have you ever seen The Fifth Element?
Yes. With Bruce Willis, yeah.
Remember Bruce Willis in that movie?
Yeah.
That Corbin Dallas? Corbin, my man, Corbin. I don't want to be Chris Tucker. I want to be Corbin, my man, Corbin. I want to be Braveheart, Mel Gibson. Like to have a passion and a drive for something bigger than yourself. You're willing to sacrifice yourself for so many others. Like something that has depth, that will move people, that will teach people how to be better and understand who they are inside as well. Like, I want movies that have depth. So those are kind of my dream roles. Things that are, like, fun, adventure, but yet still strong life lessons.
Interesting. So when you're not working, what do you do for fun? What are some of your hobbies that you enjoy doing?
I play Fortnite. I play Dungeons and Dragons. We play board games at home. We walk our dog. We dress our dog up. We do a lot of photo shoots. My girlfriend's a model, so I get to tag along with her photo shoots and hang out and watch her perform. She's phenomenal. I hang out with friends. I just have lunch. I mean, I really like just connecting with people. I like to connect on many levels. My father has a headset, so we play video games online and we chat. My kids have headsets, so we play video games online and we chat. My friends like to play board games. My girlfriend loves Skip-Bo. That's her thing, Skip-Bo. So we play Skip-Bo a ton. Yeah, that, man. Just lots of catch-ups with people I care about. I don't really have time for negative people anymore. I want to spend my time generously with those I care about and love.
Yeah.
And I want to hear what they think and feel. I just want to connect. That's
really
it.
That's great. Do you have any other upcoming projects that you want to tell the listeners about?
We have a lot going on right now in the back end. We're writing a horror film. We're making a comic book. It's a fictional take on American history. We're making romantic comedies on a galactic level. There's so many different things that we're working on right now, all in different phases of production. But all in all, I think that we're going to have everything kind of up and running here by the end of this year, and then we'll hopefully be slated for production sometime next year.
That's great. Lastly, how can the listeners find you on social media?
My biggest form of communication, and I talk with almost everyone that DMs me, is Instagram. It's Mr. Christopher Sean. My name, MR. It's one word, Mr. Christopher Sean. There, and everything else is Christopher Sean. Twitter, Facebook, and so forth. But really, I use Instagram because that kind of that captures all platforms with one post. And that's where you guys can reach out to me, Mr. Christopher Sean. Let me know how you think about Star Wars Resistance, and if you post anything on your stories, I'll probably repost them to my story if you do the hashtag Star Wars Resistance, or tag me at Christopher Sean, at Mr. Christopher Sean, excuse me.
All right. This was great. Thank you for coming on, Christopher. This was fun.
Man, thank you so much. It's a beautiful cave, and I hope that you get some light.